You must be mad, you must be mad. No one could say that if he was saying too much absinthe, too much smoke. Somewhere your mind was stained with something awful, something dire, some inhuman mire. You must be evil, you must be evil, born without a soul, like an ogre, like a ghoul, like a troglodyte or a troll.
Welcome to Sobra's Studio Art Carving. Now we've been commissioned to do a stage piece for the upcoming production of Absinthe Heroes at the Steampunk World's Fair, the largest event of its kind on the planet. Perhaps the galaxy, even the universe. If not, Jeff, I'm sure you're working on that. Now the Plague Doctor literally died out in the 1600s, and as useless as the mask was then, it was the science and technology of the times, and so it's gained quite the popularity with steampunk. Now every once in a while we are called in to do restorations or repairs on very old tombstones and markers in cemeteries, some dating back as early as the 16 and 1700s. However, sometimes these stones are beyond repair and are replaced with replicas, and the remnants unfortunately cast aside or used as fill in holes somewhere. So when we can, we bring these remnants back to the studio and repurpose this vintage material for carving, art, and sculpture, and that is exactly what we're going to do here. Now then, we've selected some material from one of the vintage markers that we brought back to the studio. This one dates back early 1700s. We've cut it down, removed some of the uncarvable excess. We have a good stable block. We've squared that off nicely. We've drawn some register lines on this face, as you can see. I'm going to repeat those register lines on the opposite side, and then we can begin our stock removal. Would you be so kind, sir? I am most gratuitous. We shall begin our stock removal with the 7.25 diamond saw. This is going to allow us to retain some of the larger pieces for future use, as well as lessen the risk of breakage from impact. Moving on to the 4-inch diamond blade, we shall commence in what we refer to as comb cutting, where we shall cut lines with the saw that we may remove them with our pitch chisel.
And I am yet left with the single damnable question: why won't the great old ones rise up and devour us all? 30 years of fiduciary care, 15 wax.
Now that most of the stock removal is finished and we block profiled the piece lengthwise, we've left a small area here for the straps of the mask to wrap around and hold the serum vial inkwell. We're going to move on to the front profile, do some stock removal here, and begin to shape that mask.
The diamond point chisel has gained its name because of its faceted point, not because it is made from diamonds. Using the sculpture hammer, our strikes are more direct into the stone to remove larger pieces initially. We begin light shaping with our comb chisel, such named because of the comb-like prongs. Using carving strokes at approximately a 30-degree angle, we shall work in multiple directions. With our flat chisel, we shall continue to smooth the surface and remove the gradient marks of the cone chisel. Our offset chisel allows us to get into the tight corners. We shall smooth and contour with various shapes of rasp files.
And an opiate most dear, ancient medicines, modern chemist in a place of cog and gear. New age, morning, rose and thorning, new chances and new fears.
You must be mad, you must be mad, I must be mad. Well, I suppose an update's in order. Now then, we've removed the cone chisel marks with our flat chisel. As you can see, it's getting quite smooth. We've done a plethora of filing and still have a little bit to go. Now, we're not doing a rigid sculpture. We are doing a sculpture that we want to represent the pliability of the leather or sometimes even treated cloth that these masks were made of. So we want a lot of flow, even perhaps the suggestion of some sagging as the mask sits. We've hollowed out the back for our absinthe bottle. We are going to work on these straps now, and we're going to cut the area where the inkwell will sit. We'll begin to do some cuts in along the top of the mask, the sides of the mask, where we can put those seams for the stitching in. Alrighty?
Lighter carving, delicate areas, merit moving from the metal dead soft sculpture hammer to the wooden mallet.
Blushingly bright, but I have not the itch. I love not the pistons, I love but the spokes, and I know
We shall volley between the various shapes and sizes of chisels.
I see that my pitch has likely been queered, but I don't want a wife.
Given the delicate sensibilities of the marble, we want to work towards the center. We want our strap on, not breaking our strap off.
You'll choke. My love is the love whose name can't be spoke. So back to the love I'll quietly slip.
The seam work and stitching are executed with very fine small chisels. It is a very slow and delicate process.
And miracles brewed. What sadness, what torture, what anguish.
Sanding upward into the numbers of grits, we shall bring our surface just below what we call a hone.
With knowledge and learning and studious toil and meaning and purpose and Tesla coils.
Now we've completed the sculptural carving on this piece. We're still going to do a finish on the carved parts. However, I'm going to leave the base as is. I want to retain that original condition and patina from that 1700s marker. Next, we're going to drill the hole for the metal lighting attachments. Now, what I've got here is a percussion drill, and I've taken down to size some pretty good rocks with this one. However, in the spirit of steampunk, we're not going to use this. If you've ever wondered how holes were drilled in stone before there were machinery, we have the star drill, the predecessor to the percussion drill. This is how we are going to drill our hole for the metal attachments. It's going to take a while.
Doesn't matter what the tools are.
Great care is in order that we stay perpendicular and not cause a bind, pushing out the sides and breaking the sculpture, nor that we cause too high an impact to fracture our piece.
I said before, I'll say
Oh my, I do believe it's time to get started carving the pen for our lamp writing set. Now, I've got a bone to pick, and I do believe I fancy one of the...
metacarpal persuasion.
These are buffalo, tatonka. For those of the scientific inclination, bison. Capitalize that first B, if you will. And no, do not confuse them with bison athabascae. These are good solid bones. They are marrow bones. However, they have a very thick wall. We have proper length and enough diameter to be able to carve that rook skull at the end, which will hold our nib. Shall we proceed then?
We shall divide our piece accordingly on the 6 tooth per inch saw blade. And remembering to wear proper respiratory protection, we move to the sander to shape our pen.
Darkling calling, thoughts appalling, one who fell falling again.
Nib holder in hand, we shall take some measurements, set our depth, drill our pilot hole, open up our pilot hole, setting our depth once again,
Which thoroughly failed to reassure.
and fit our nib holder into the skull area, keeping a nice and linear trajectory. We shall begin to shape our corvid. As we move through the various shapes and sizes and types of our steel cutting bits, do enjoy the music.
Moral peril, humans feral, with the aftertaste of sin. Soul benders, sweet surrenders, tingling on your tongue and skin.
Lastly, to complete our pen, we shall give it a smooth polish and a wonderful luster to be comfortable in the hand.
Now that we have finished our crafty and creative endeavors for the Plague Doctor lamp and writing set for the upcoming production of Absinthe Heroes at the Steampunk World Fair coming this very May, and post-auctioned for charity it shall be. For us, it is time for tea, cookies, and for you, closer observations.
Come join with me, we have riches untold, women so bold, your breath will steam. Glories on so very vast a scale, your waking life will outsail your greatest of dreams. It's true, a few will perish in pain, but will cherish the rain that wipes away grief. The riches of the world to be plucked, concubines to construct a soothing relief. Think on the civilization will our workings will fill the sea, land, and space. Indeed, the very ether will plumb. No golden age will come, will do better. Your race